I'll now invite Sonia Aima, Program Officer of Public Engagement and Active Citizenship for TISA. Please just come on stage. And her panelists that will be joining her. Number one is Hamna Abdi Gedi, who is an entrepreneur and an ED Pastoralist Society of ASAL Network. You here? Ida Opolo, Gweth, if you can come on stage, if I've mentioned your name. And Joanne Wainaina, founder and CEO, Top M Consulting. If I've mentioned your name, please come on stage. Please, can we give them a round of applause as they settle in?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good. Now all eyes are on me. Thank you. I would want to pick up just from where Angela has left. And I think all of us agree that informal sector is a very big space. Just looking at what Angela shared, munakumbuka the small circles. Who remembers Kenya ilikuwa at what percentage? Yeah? 17. Good. I think it's at 83. So based on the global average, we are way? Are we below or high? Our informal sector has a bigger chunk of us than the rest of the world, right? So we need to do much more to be able to ensure that that works. With me, I have panelists who are going to help us give lived experiences to the challenges and also the findings that Angela just went and debunked for us a few minutes ago. But as I start, I want to also give a small brief of what we thought at the Institute of Social Accountability. We believe that taxes aren't just merely fiscal tools, but instruments of social policy. Therefore, their designing and implementation should either promote or hinder inclusivity, economic growth, and sustainable development. To ensure that it promotes, I think that's why we are all here today, to ensure that it works for us, right? Then we need to work with persons within the informal sector. There's nothing for us without us. In the markets, for us at TISA, our key interest is informal traders in the market sectors, and then to reimagine the tax policies that promote tax justice and eliminate the challenges. So with that, we believe that true economic inclusion requires a system, a systems change approach where we look at the things that underline and the things that inform our mindset, but also the power dynamics that have kept women in this situation over the years. So allow me to ask my panelists to introduce themselves the best way you can. Give yourself flowers if you can today. You're given the opportunity. And also say one thing in relation to what I've heard that has really been mentioned here. When we have economic development, we get voices.
Good afternoon. My name is Ida Opolo. I am a businesswoman. I run a fragrance shop. I call it Gweth Sense. It's something I started after I lost work after COVID. So to me, it's still a baby. And in the morning, I was looking at some women, and I was telling someone, hey, I'm looking at these women, and they look like they're big, and as we're small. But to me, it's been a journey. Yes.
Just to encourage you, you're not small. We are here to speak about you today.
Sure.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Hannah Abdi Gedi. I'm the founder of Pastoralist Society of ASAL Network. I'm originally from northern part of Kenya. I'm actually feeling good because I'm representing the pastoralist community, the Samburu, the Maasai, everyone who is here. And I'm a businesswoman. I live in Isli, Kamkunji. I live in the biggest in East and Central Africa, the biggest hub business. You know, Isili is the center of business, the center heart of Kenya, I mean. Sorry for exaggerating, but I'm selling myself and the community of Isili. So I'm very grateful to be here, and I'm looking forward to for the discussion. Thank you.
Good afternoon, taxpayers. Are you well? My name is Joanne Wainaina. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Top Money Consulting. It's a digital marketing agency where we help. In fact, I was just checking the other day when I was told I'm a panelist. Majority of our clients are women. So I'm happy to be in this space. What we do, we help you with if you have a startup, a small business where you are not sure how you're going to launch your business online, you don't know the story, stories now, what is selling. So if you don't know how to tell the story of your business, we will guide you through it. If you don't know the messaging, the communication that you're supposed to do, the branding part of it, and I'm excited to be in this room, and I can't wait to hear what other taxpayers are saying.
Joanne has purposely made a point to remind us that we actually pay tax, whether you like it or not, that is. But I want to just get into the discussions, and I would like to start with you, Ida. And I really hope we are going to follow in the footsteps of our peers who just humanize the stories of what we are discussing today. And hoping that we will get that from you three. And to you, Ida, as a woman who runs a small business in the informal sector, what are the biggest challenges that you have faced when it comes to taxation?
The first thing I'd say is people assume we understand what tax is, but I want to believe that I speak for most of us, we don't. The moment you're told, utalipa license, we are there, that's it. And most of us, we avoid paying for those licenses. Because one, you see the way we say we are MSMEs, we don't even know how much we make. So by the time I'm being told I'm supposed to pay 5K, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm looking at 5K as I'm being stolen from. But then I'm still the same person who is going to say, oh, I need healthcare, I need this, I need the market renovated. But I've not been taught what does this 5K for license mean. And then I'm asking myself, where am I getting it from? Because this is how we run our businesses. You see, let me say down there, we have so many microfinance institutions and banks and others coming in who are willing to give us money. So there's credit. But you see, we don't have the know-how of how to use this money. I was just sitting at home, and then I was told, oh, since you can't get work, go into business. But I haven't been told the nitty-gritties of any business. So if you tell me there's VAT tax, there's due with the holding tax, that is English. We don't get it down there. So unless I'm taught and I'm told, when you run your kibanda and you're selling mboga and you're selling this, let me speak for myself. See, I'm selling fragrance. And unless I'm told, either when you go and source perfumes and you sell, you're supposed to pay this and this and this minus your license, because license to naichukanga ni kama I'm paying for that space. It sounds like that. So unless I'm taught and I'm told, this is what you're supposed to pay for this, it won't make sense to me. And then I'm also told I need to file my tax. I'm filing what? The only time I will have a bank account is because someone told me, you see this bank, they will give you credit if you improve. So start saving with them. So I don't even attach my business to that account. I want someone to pay me cash or pay me M-Pesa, and nowadays we do pochi or we do till. Like, we avoid some expenses. So generally, there's no knowledge. So even if you give me credit, and people sit here and say there's credit, we will come for it. And honestly, you people are saying women pay. We don't pay. Tunatoroka. Because you gave me money that I don't know how to use. I don't know how to keep my records. You just came, saw a nice shop, and said, when I look at your shop, this looks like 20 Gs, so I can give you another 20K. You give me 20K, I cannot repay you 20K. Because to me, I calculate like this. If I make sales today, I'm already thinking, hapa natoa pesa ya food, hapa nagawa school fee, hapa, you see, I'm already subdividing my money. By the time you're telling me I'm supposed to pay 1, 2, 3, it is not part of my mathematics.
Okay.
So challenges are, we are being told to pay things we don't understand. We are running businesses, we don't understand how. We're not keeping records. We lie that we keep, we don't keep. We don't know how to calculate our profit. We don't know how much we make in a year. So you'll ask me, how much do you make? I don't know how much I make because I live from hand to mouth. But the moment I will hear, and I was telling someone, business people, we love where we're told, pesa inapeanwa, we run. But then you will give me money, and I will not be able to pay you, or I will go borrow some other place to repay you, I will forget about tax. So unless there's education on tax, and let these SMEs understand what tax means, and why I should be paying it, I think we are still lost somewhere.
Thank you, Ida. I believe we all resonate in one way or another, right? And she has brought out an aspect that business for women, or informal, let's use informal businesses for women, is a de facto. Umeka home, hauna kitu ya kudu, mtu anakuambia, si unaweza anza kuuza viatu. Uko na 2K, unakimbia Isili, unachukua zile vitu za 6 pairs. We know them, right? Ama pale downtown Kamkunji. 6 pairs at how much? Around 1800. Hiyo ni 3 so, unakuja unauza 5 so, uko na profit next. So she brings out that aspect. And let me tie it to the presentation in the morning by WeHub, when they were talking about the business incubation centers or something. And I think this portrays exactly what they were talking about. Women just get themselves in businesses without having the skills. And it's very important to hear from her that these skills are actually necessary for us to be able to carry out these businesses well. And this leads me to the next question, which she has touched in a bit to you, Hani. Most women in the informal sector struggle with understanding tax policies, right? And compliance. What are the barriers that you as Hani, and maybe the people within your circle, have experienced in navigating tax regulations? What would make compliance easy? Just as she was speaking about running and toroka payments, what is it, what's that ideal situation that would make young women or women in business to be able to comply to these regulations?
Okay, basically, as a young business woman in Isli, it has become so difficult for us to understand the meaning of tax and the revenue, because most of the people who are living there are conservative. Okay. Plus, most of the population who lives in Isli are Muslim community. So most of them don't pay tax, literally because they believe it's a riba for them.
Okay.
So you will realize that the goodies that are being brought to Isli, let me just be honest, and I'm not negative about it, most of them are fake. Let's say if you buy Gucci, you are buying a Gucci cloth. Maybe in the stores of Gucci in the other countries, you will find out a one t-shirt cost $100 USD. But here in Isli, the same cloth, you will find it being sold at 1,000. So if I decide to go for something legit and I bring, and I'm paying a very high tax, and my neighbor is selling 1,000, I'm selling 5,000, who is losing? It's me. It's because we are actually facing a lot of barriers on understanding tax. And paying tax in Italy has become a norm, like a taboo, whereby goods are being smuggled in a very easy way that lots of things are poisonous. Let's say the other day we have a sugar scandal in Italy, whereby almost 2,000 bags of sugar were caught in one of the go downs in Italy. It was contaminated. You see, there is that lack of education and illiteracy that's still going on, that we don't know. We are Kenyans and we are patriots and we are supposed to pay tax. So for me, I see the barriers that we are going through is lack of education, proper education. But through TISA, somehow I've learned a lot of tax penalties and regularities that someone, if you are caught that your nini are not hazijalipiwa, kwa mfano umeingiza bidhaa fulani na bidhaa zimekuwa expensive, so my neighbor here will just go to one of the guys who works in KRA, bribe them, he gets his stuffs. Me, I don't have that capacity. Maybe I don't have that amount of money to pay. So I'm going a lot of losses because I cannot clear myself from KRA. And if I try to clear myself from KRA, is that I'm not cleared in a legit way. There's a guy who will come from me, what do we call, a broker. He will tell me, I will clear you, just pay that amount of money. Next morning, ninaona watu wa KRA kwa mlango wangu wakinitafuta. Okay. So we are actually going through a lot, and I would really love KRA and other stakeholders who are cooperating with KRA to come and give people of Sili proper education on how we're going to pay KRAs and tax.
Thank you. I hear what you're saying, and I believe that means that in terms of stakeholders that are key in the tax sector, haven't been able to do as much of education and training for most of the people within the sector, right? Yeah. So this leads me to Joanne. Within your consulting firm, do you believe that there's this growing call for tax reforms? And just maybe tie it to the first two presentations, that's the tax reforms that support businesses. From your perspective, what tax-related policies changes would you have the greatest impact, especially in empowering women entrepreneurs?
Thank you once again for the question. One of the tax recommendations that I would give from my end is tied to what I do, and it is the digital economy. Majority of us who are entrepreneurs in this room, we all have a representation of our businesses online. We are growing, our economy is growing, but the population is growing, but we do not have jobs for the young people. So majority have now resorted to online businesses. Now, these online businesses, majority again are women. In some developed countries, we have something called child care credit or child care deduction. So this is what happens. If a woman, you have a small business, an MSME, you're a woman, you're given a credit. So if you're supposed to give it could be 1% of your profit, it could be your TOT or the turnover tax. That encourages more women to get into the business sector. It also now gives more income to the family. And when there's more income in that family, then it means we are going to spend more in the same local manufacturing. So I will now go to Hani's business and promote her. And when I promote her, we're also promoting the GDP. And there's a study that was done in Australia. And they found all that child care deduction or that child care tax would increase the people who will now start working, especially women, by an increase of 1%, and ultimately it will resonate to their GDP. So the childcare deduction, and I see Mheshimiwa here, we are looking up to you for the childcare tax. Please go, and we have been told this in this room, we are the people who are managing this economy, isn't it?
Yeah.
We are 12 million of us. Tukikasirika, these guys will listen. But you see now there's a way they come with all this, like now the finance bills. Unaona vile imefichwa. So they want to release it at the last minute when they have wametufunga kabisa. So I hope with that one statement, have radicalized all of you, that women in this room, we must know that we are the largest group of taxpayers, and we are moms. So you can imagine if you're now given a child care deduction in the house, you will be able to get an extra help and now focus on your business. Or if it's at work, there will be less sick-offs because the child will be called, the child is 60, there will be someone else who's working on that. So something else is training. So we have MSMEs in this room. What you don't know is that there's turnover tax, there's corporate tax, there's payroll tax, there's all these taxes that you're supposed to know. Yet, KRA will come to your door, they never trained you. All they want is money. You know the taxes. They start telling you, where is the NHIF, where is this payroll tax, you know all those taxes in your payroll? MSME hajaisikia payroll tax. Kazi yake ya kugikomba, anauza nguo, they've been that business, and they have employees. So there's a gap in training, and I like what TISA has done. They are going out of their way. Angela, we're almost meeting in these counties when I'm also training my MSMEs, and Angela is busy training, but there's so much Angela can do. KRA needs to partner with people like TISA. Jasiri, was it Jasiri? Jasiri has stuck in my mind so that more women can get into the space and they can learn more about taxation.
Thank you very much for that presentation. And I hear the call of radicalization. How many feel they are radicalized? Ama tuendele. But just back to you, Joanne, before I come to the others. Do you believe that women in the informal sector have a strong enough voice in tax policy discussions? You could look at it from all angles, both from education and training.
No, women don't have. And it's because in the informal sector, this woman was told, you need to log into iTax. They do not have a smartphone. In the informal sector, we don't have cybers. So this lady is just operating on a vacuum. And then someone tells them, you need to be investor ready. Investor ready means you need to know how to keep records, you need to know how to do all these kind of things. For sure, women have been left behind when it comes to taxation and everything that advise the taxation of how their businesses is supposed to, you know. So I would recommend that it is not done, and there's still much more that needs to be done for the women to learn, to know, and even get to be on the table. Okay. So for the budget statements that have been released recently, I wonder how many women were in that room when those budgetary were being done. You know, if they wake up one day and say they are taxing pads, diapers, it means there was no woman in that room. And if she was, then she let down the entire 12 million who we are paying taxes, isn't it? So we need a lot of women representation in those rooms where taxes is being discussed.
Thank you for that. And my last question would go to both Hani and Ida. Just listening to all the tax injustices, or let's say fully economic injustices, how have you had to adjust your business model? This is looking at pricing, operational, on how to cope with tax-related challenges. And has this impacted your profits?
Adjustments. Coming to forums like this has helped. So there's a bit of awareness that now I have that I can share with the people I can access. But again, generally, me being a Kenyan, there's just that thing that clicks in my head, like, if I can avoid it, let me just avoid it. I'm honest. But we pay what we can pay. So we will pay our single business because Kanjo will be on your neck. You don't want to keep running. So you will work hard and pay for it. You will avoid it and bribe them. You bribe them like 100 bob per week or 100 bob for 2 weeks. So you're good. You do that math, you still feel safe. So that means my profits are good. You see, I've avoided something. But then I'm saying my profits are good. Do I even know what my profit is? So I'm still there. So maybe just, let me say in summary, we need a lot of awareness. We need to be taught a lot on not just these taxes, but the theme was what works. What works for us, and to me, I was equating it to, for my growth in business, for me to make money, for me to be in the 12 million people that pay tax, that means I have cash. And if I do not have cash in my pocket, then I'm not part of the 12 million. I'm part of the people saying it, not acting on it. So teach me on how to put money in my pocket, then that way I'll have money to give the government to offer me services. Another thing, government, can you lump sum these things? There are too many. I can't be paying garbage and paying what and paying what. Can't you just lump sum this thing? If I've paid garbage, I've paid for parking, I can put my car there, and mtu wa garbage won't do what they did to Kenya Power to me because I didn't pay. So lump sum all this. If it's fish people, see at is health what nini, like ask me what do you do? Have a one thing, so once I pay, I know I've paid for fire, for nini, not too many things. Thank you.
And maybe as you respond, Hani, are we together? Yeah. As you respond, Hani, there was a time, this if me, so what, Makanjo walikuwa natembea, compliance officers. Remember there was a time this was happening? And we could hear stories of people in the shops wanafunga wakisikia wanakam. So ionekane ni kama haukufungwa. So maybe talk about that as you speak to this.
Okay.
Oh, even now, okay.
Even now it's happening. And we normally know when they are coming because we have spies who inform us. And we don't close the shop full, we close half. So sometimes I from Isli, when they pass there, they are told, she went to the mosque. She's not around. So that's how they pass. So from my end, I would say it's a positive result because this forum has really taught me a lot today. And I have learned from the previous panels on how they have talked about business and the challenges they went through and the goals and the vision that they are having in the future. So I'm very optimistic and I'm very happy that what was that? Is it Uzima or what was it? Jasiri. That Jasiri thing has really motivated me, and I'm looking forward to meet that girl, to take her to Isili so that she can tell something to my fellow young business entrepreneurs.
That was such a powerful way to merge the whole day, because I think we've touched on every panel in one way or another. We were talking about education, which was majorly the first and second. We spoke about Jasiri, which is a fund that's going to help informal traders, but also looking at it fully. When Angela was speaking, we were talking about the advocacy issues, which speaks about each and every sector or space that needs to be filled for all these challenges to, in one way, be dealt with. She spoke about education, there was need for funding, there was need for harmonizing of the taxes. So I think we are all summarizing the day in one way or another. But I have a question. I have 28 seconds. I was really trying not to go beyond the time. I have a question to the room. What does tax justice look like for you? Punishment. Punishment to who? Tax justice. How does it look like? I have a present for anyone. Oh, yes, sorry.
My pay, for example, is like even up to 50% or 40% like we see in the developed world. They get social services, they get good education for their children, they get medical facilities are good, they get, so as much as you tax, you should be able to give me what I'm paying for. So that's what tax justice looks like.
Anyone else? Yes? Yes, yes.
So for me, tax justice looks like the state facilitating me to thrive, that I'm able to really thrive to do what I need to do to make my contribution to my country.
The state creating an enabling environment for me to achieve my full potential. I want us to leave the room thinking about that. And apologies, you're the only person I can see, and I believe you look government, so you are definitely government. Next time, try and look like me so that I confuse you. But that is ideally what we are looking at. Anytime we hold these forums, it's to create an enabling environment for all women and every other person who exists amidst us to be able to thrive and achieve all that they want. I promised a gift to one person, and we launched at TISA, we launched this study last year. It's on the impact of IMF, Fiscal Consolidation Program in Kenya, an economic and human rights analysis. It looks as IMF, but looked at the effect to me, and not the monies we keep talking about. So as you read this, please pass it to the lady. And then one. And then because I have government in the room, and I want you as an ally to be able to advocate for this better, I want to have one for you. And the rest will be given to others. But before I leave, allow me to thank my team for the good work and also for creating the human bit for all of us to be able to see the picture from where they sit. Thank you.